gentlemen, the gentlelady from Minnesota, Ms. McCollum, is recognized for remarks on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the chair of the subcommittee and the ranking member. This must have been a very, at times, challenging conversation to be having with one another. I'm not offering an amendment, and that's why I'm making opening remarks. I rise to share my opposition to this bill because it will codify the Trump administration's disastrous, chaotic foreign policy actions. With its deep cuts to our country's development, diplomacy, and capacity, this bill, in my opinion, represents a total abdication of U.S. global leadership and puts millions of lives at risk around the world. In my opinion, it makes America less safe. Last week, the House passed a rescissions package which cut $8 billion in foreign assistance programs that directly support children and families living in the most dire circumstances around the world. The funding had already been appropriated by Congress on a bipartisan basis just 4 months ago. When I look at this bill, in addition to the rescissions and the elimination of USAID and the mass layoffs at the State Department, I fear the disastrous impact it will have on our country, our international partners, as we navigate global events together, and as we attempt to be a global leader on all fronts. Our State Department is on life support when we chronically underfund our diplomacy and development, and we must turn to the defense industry instead to make up the difference. As the ranking member of the Defense Subcommittee, I just find that unacceptable. The legislation before us today houses some of the most important programs regarding diplomacy, development, and defense initiatives of the United States and the world at large. The program funded from this subcommittee saves lives. Now, there are many cuts to this bill, and I'm not going to get into all of them, but I'm going to focus on one topic in particular, the fight to end global hunger and child malnutrition. Because when we help parents, they remember who helped them. When we speak today on this bill, as many as 319 million people are facing acute hunger. Over 36 million children are suffering from acute malnutrition. The United States has been a long leader in this, coordinating and executing efforts to lead the global food crisis and have it come to an end. Now, the United States bill that we're about to vote on cuts 42% of the humanitarian assistance, meaning millions of children will be dying of malnutrition and stop receiving food. This bill makes a $192 million cut to Feed the Future. I appreciate that it's still in the bill, but I worked with many others to help develop this in a bipartisan, bicameral fashion. It helps 33 million people worldwide learn how to feed themselves so are not at risk of starvation or us having to come in and help. And just last week, the State Department incinerated nearly 5,000 tons of emergency food that was already purchased to feed starving children. The world watched as this administration decided not to even distribute the food, but burn it instead. I ask you, how many lives could have been saved if we had just kept our commitments, if we had just honored a bill we had just passed 4 months ago? How truly this administration really plans on tackling fraud, waste, and abuse when we are burning food that this Congress had voted on to be distributed to children. This accumulated effect will make more children be at risk of dying, more mothers dying during childbirth, and just the total lack of health care or exposure to violence that these children and their families will be facing is horrifying. It's a waste. It leaves a vacuum of leadership in the most vulnerable places around the world. And that void, I guarantee it, China and Russia will look to fill in their own way. I've been fortunate enough to travel around this world as serving in Congress, and I've met adults and children who remember who helped them. The mothers who knew the plumpy nut that they were giving their child was going to save their life. Who's going to remember us now? And how will we be remembered? Is a determination that this bill is part of. With that, I yield back.